In this presentation, I would like to look at the Automatic Private IP Address Range, also known as APIPA. The Automatic Private IP Address Range goes from 169.254.0.0 to 169.254.255.255. It's technically a private IP address range. It's been reserved by the Internet authorities for private use. It's not used on the Internet, but this is not a range that you intentionally use 9 times out of 10. This is a range of IP addresses that your system will automatically self-assign itself an IP address from when it can't get one from a DHCP server. So the scenario here where this comes into play, it's supposed to be in a scenario where you have some systems on a switch, there is no DHCP server, you want them to get an IP address, so you configure them to automatically obtain an IP. They will try to get one from a DHCP server, which is not available, so it would then therefore fall back and self-assign itself an IP address from this range. So let's say you had a switch and you plug some systems into it. Those systems are turned on, they try to get an IP from DHCP, none is available, they self-assign themselves an IP from this range, they just randomly pick an IP, they all have the same network ID, they're on the same switch, they therefore can communicate with each other. Or let's say you're fixing two systems and you connect them with a crossover cable directly. In a scenario like that, there is no DHCP server. Both systems will then self-assign an APIPA address, and then they can communicate with each other using that address. In a typical environment, however, when systems end up with an APIPA address, it usually indicates that you have issues with your DHCP server, or you might have connectivity issues to the network. It usually is the case that the system's network cable is not connecting to the network correctly. There's a fault in the cable somewhere, and as a result, it can't get an IP from DHCP, so it self-assigns itself one. So usually someone might complain, hey, I can't connect to the server or the internet. The tech opens up the command prompt, they run ipconfig, they see there is an APIPA IP, and then they check the connectivity of the computer to the network. If a whole bunch of systems can't get IP addresses on the network, well then chances are it's a problem with the DHCP server. So you go and you check the device that's running the DHCP service. In a small network, that might be the router. In a larger network, that might be an actual dedicated server running Windows Server 2012, for example. And you check to see what's up with the DHCP server. So to summarize, this is the automatic private IP address. Anything that starts off with 169.254 is an automatic private IP, and computer systems self-assign this IP when they can't get an IP from the DHCP server.